Okay, we pick up here where Mercury just visited Aeneas and told him that he had to get out of Carthage to fulfill his fate. So we start out with Aeneas, he's our subject, and then amens is an adjective describing Aeneas. Okay, you can think of mens, mens is mind. So if you're amens, you're without a mind. So it's like frenzied. So we got but truly Aeneas, frenzied. Was speechless at the sight, and the sight being Mercury coming to visit him. Okay, you can remember this one. Mutu is like mute. If you're mute, you don't speak. Okay, and in this next line, you have erecti comi, which are both nominative, and then wokes is nominative. So the reason this hyphen is singular is because it goes, when you have a compound subject, it goes with the nearest subject. So here you go. Then we got quake, which is both and so, and both his hairs having been stood on end in horror, and his voice was stuck in his throats. This is where we get the word adhere, like hireo. Okay, so obviously this experience really struck Aeneas, made an impact on Aeneas, and so he knew that he had to kind of follow his advice. So this next part is he burns, and it's not like he's on fire, but like his, like he has a desired urgency to go. So he burns to depart in flight and to leave the sweet lands. So one of the AP short answer free response questions said, what place does the sweet lands refer to? And of course we know that is Carthage. Why was it sweet? Because Dido was there. Okay, having been astonished, or like awestruck, by such a warning and by the command of the heavens. Then we have a series of deliberative questions. Okay, remember deliberative questions are like subjunctives used in a main clause, and these are trying to figure out what to do. So that's what this says. Alas, what should he do? Okay, then we got this quo goes with ad fatu on the next line. So with what speech now? Then we got ad on the next slide. Does he dare? To approach the queen. Okay, who is the queen? The queen is Dido. Okay, another AP question back up here was, what gods are referred to by the tanto manitu imperioque? Okay, and it's talking about Jupiter via his messenger Mercury. Okay, so the queen, back down here, so where now, or with what speech now does he dare to approach the queen? And then this present active participle, which I left out here, like the raging queen. So why would she be raging? Well, because she thought they were married. Okay, then our last deliberative question is right here. what first exordia is like beginning. So what first beginning can he employ? So basically what it's saying is, if he doesn't even know how to approach her, how do you even start with some, messenger God came and told me I needed to get the hell out of here. Forget our history and our supposed marriage and all of that. Okay, so here's what he does. And so he turns. We got Nook Nook. So this is talking about Aeneas, right? So he turns his quick mind, now here, now there, or now to this place, now to that place. And he hurries it into various parts. Okay, remember it's into because it's in plus the accusative. Or he both, sorry, I forgot the both. So he both hurries it into different parts or directions, and he turns it over everything. So if you think about it, what leadership skills, what skills of a leader does it say that Aeneas possessed here? He didn't just act rashly and go, he thought about all of his different options before he made a final determination of what he did. And kind of contrast this with Caesar. Caesar takes swift, decisive action immediately, but here he ponders what he should do before he jumps out there and does it. Okay. Okay, so in this next one, height goes with sententia. Okay, and then this sucker is dative, because it's a PAP, that's third. Those take third endings. Okay, and potior is an adjective, and then visa est is your verb. So back up here, so he's trying to decide, whether he should even tell Dido or just slip out of there. Okay, so we got for the wavering one, talking about Aeneas. Okay, this opinion, or this option, seemed, okay, so remember video in the passive can mean to seem, seemed the best. That's what this potior means. Or seemed, yeah. Seemed like a better option. Okay, so here's what he does. He calls Mnestheus and Sergestus and brave Serestus. So he gathers his resources and his people. And he equips, hold on. Okay, so this is going to set up an indirect command, and how I knew that was, like, he calls is my verb of commanding. And then when I saw that these suckers down here were all subjunctive, okay, so I knew that there had to be an indirect command that didn't have the ud in there. So he calls together Mnestheus, Sergestus, and brave Serestus, that they, so these suckers are our subject, so that they equip the fleet and they silently, so this is a nominative describing the men as our subject, right? That they silently drive or compel their companions to the shores. So think about this sentence in terms of what are the leadership characteristics that Aeneas is showing by taking this sort of action. And how does that compare to Caesar's reaction, when he receives news? So think about that. So this verb's still a part of that indirect command, and that they prepare weapons and that they hide what their reason is for making new plans. Okay, so this Wandy's Rebus the Node says that that's like the sign that a revolution was coming. Okay, and this sucker right here is an indirect question. So basically, if you're questioned, then you need to hide your reason for really leaving. Okay. Meanwhile, he himself. Okay, so this is implied indirect statement depending on Wocott, which is on the previous slide. So you might put a that in here. So that he himself, and here's your infinitive down here, which goes with your indirect statement. So that he himself, meanwhile, would try because Dido, like the best Dido, does not know and does not hope for such great loves to be, this literally means like burst into, like to be broken off. So this is a present passive infinitive. Okay, we'll try his. Back up here, we'll try his. This is the object of that. We'll try his approach. Okay, then we got a bunch of indirect questions. So he's trying to come up with all the questions that she might ask, and then come up with some answers. So he won't just stand there crazy. And what the softest times are of speaking. Okay, then we've got three nominatives here. So what, that's dative. What the right method would be for the situation. So, quickly is an adverb. Literally, it means, yeah, quickly. All happily obey his orders. Remember, pareo takes the dative. And they perform his orders. So how do they respond to his leadership is kind of the question of that whole section. Okay, but the queen, that's our nominative. We're talking about Dido. Anticipated or sensed the deceits. And we got who is able to deceive the loving one. So in other words, she... Okay, and this is a deliberative subjunctive. And she first caught the future excitements okay, and then a present active participle that's nominative describes Dido, fearing everything safe. So in other words, she starts like, no matter how safe they are, she's like questioning whether or not it's for real, or, you know, is this really true? Could this really, like, pinching yourself to see if it's really happening. Okay, so one of the old AP free response questions was, you know, describes Dido's state of mind in this passage and cite 3 Latin words or phrases that back up your assertion. So there's lots of things you could cite in that part. Okay, then we got the same cruel Fama. Now remember, Fama is also rumor. We described her in an earlier section. Okay, she brought to the raging one, meaning Dido. Okay, so this sets up indirect statement based on day 2 lit. Okay, so here are your infinitives, and here are your accusative. That the fleet was being armed, and the course was being prepared. Okay, so one of the past AP questions is, why was Fama called Empia? Well, because she's spreading rumors, right, to Dido, but not giving Aeneas a chance to talk it out before. Okay, so then our subject shifts to Dido. Okay, so we got Dido raged, bereft of her mind, and she raves, having been inflamed through the whole city. Okay, then this sets up a simile. We know that because of qualis. Just as. Okay, now you have to look at the next line. Theos having been excited by the like sacred by the literally it's like by the sacred things having been shaken. I should say by the shaking of the sacred things. Okay, what this is talking about is like Bacchus. So Bacchus had followers that were called Bacchantes, and they had a big party, kind of like Woodstock or that one outside of Swanee that happens every year. So the Bacchic revels celebrated every third year on Mount Kithaeron near Thebes. When the Sacra were brought out of the temple and shaken, the Theiads, or Bacchantes, so this is another name for Bacchantes, so which were followers of Bacchus, ran wild, dressed themselves in fawn skins, and joined the Bacchic orgies, where they brandished the thyrsi and danced to cymbals. Crazy. Okay, when, and then audito Baccho is an ablative absolute. With Bacchus having been heard, the triennial orgies, like every third year, the triennial orgies excite her, and Kithaeron, or nocturnal Kithaeron, calls her with a shout. So the Bacchantes shouted "Io Baccho," which is like "Hail Bacchus." So she's like drawn, to this drama or madness. Okay, so at last, she addresses Aeneas with these words. Like voluntarily. Okay, so, Aeneas doesn't have a chance to bring it up to her because Fama came and told her so she could draw him into the drama, and so she's going to go confront Aeneas about it. So she's going to go ask Aeneas, like, why are you fleeing me? So this section is part that we read in Latin 3, so it should go pretty fast. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about this line is it's really a syncopated form. Okay, syncopated means shortened, right? And so it's really spare wisty. Okay, which is like the perfect second person form. Okay, Vergil did it because of the meter, but it also kind of shows how quickly she was to get to the point. So did you hope? Okay, and this is talking about Aeneas, so it's vocative. Traitor, did you even hope to conceal such a great wrongdoing. Hold on. Did you hope? It sets up in a direct statement. So hold on. So this is the verb that sets up in a direct statement. So did you hope, traitor, that you were able? That's the infinitive in your indirect statement. So that you were able to conceal such a great wrongdoing and to steal away silently from my land. So this is an ablative separation. Okay, then we got this repetition of this necte. Like, she's going to go through all the things like, did you not think about this? Did you not think about this? Did you not think about this? Or did this not move you? Okay, so your verb's on the next slide. So we got does, because it's a question. So does neither our love nor the right hand having been given once. So it's like, nor the right hand having been given once, nor dido, and this future active participle, nor dido about to die by a cruel death, hold, and then you is back up there on those other ones. Okay, so then you're going to take this quin idiom together. So you're going to say, moreover, are you building a fleet like under the wintry sky, and I don't know if this is sky or stars, under the wintry star, and you are hurrying, and are you hurrying to go over the deep in the middle of the north winds, cruel one. Okay, so she's called him cruel and she's called him traitor.